Please make sure to subscribe our channel to show us your support and press the bell icon to get notified about our future videos. You may pause the video at times to read the questions or the answers at your own pace. Question 1. Which type of identity is created when you register an application with Active Directory? Our options are A user account, B, a user assigned managed identity, C, a system assigned managed identity, or D, a service principal. The correct option is D, a service principal. When you register an application through the Azure portal, an application object and service principal are automatically created in your home directory or tenant. Question 2. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. To the answer area, dash is used to identify, hold, and export electronic information that might be used in an investigation. Our options are customer lockbox, data loss prevention, e-discovery, or a resource log. The correct option must be e-discovery. The correct answer must be e-discovery. Customer Lockbox for Microsoft Azure provides an interface for customers to review and approve or reject customer data access requests. Customer Lockbox doesn't identify or hold and export electronic data. Question 3. Which three tasks can be performed by using Azure Active Directory Identity Protection? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our options are A. Configure external access for partner organizations. B. Export risk detection to third-party utilities. C. Automate the detection and remediation of identity-based risks. D. Investigate risks that relate to user authentication. Or E. Create and automatically assign sensitivity labels to data. The correct options among these 5 are B, C, and D. Question 4. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. So the answer area, federation is used to establish dash between organizations. Our options are multi-factor authentication, a trust relationship, user account synchronization, or a VPN connection. The correct option is a trust relationship. Federation enables the access of services across organizational or domain boundaries by establishing trust relationships between the respective domain's identity provider. Federation is a collection of domains that have established trust. Question 5. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. To the answer area, dash provides best practices from Microsoft employees, partners, and customers, including tools and guidance to assist in an Azure deployment. Our options are Azure Blueprints, Azure Policy, the Microsoft Cloud Adoption Framework for Azure, or a resource log. The correct option is the Microsoft Cloud Adoption Framework for Azure. The Cloud Adoption Framework is a collection of documentation, implementation guidance, best practices, and tools that are proven guidance from Microsoft designed to accelerate your cloud adoption journey. Question 6. What are two capabilities of Microsoft Defender for Endpoint? Each correct selection presents a complete solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our options are A. Automated investigation and remediation, B. Transport encryption, C. Shadow IT detection, or D. Attack surface reduction. The correct options are A and D, that is automated investigation and remediation, and attack surface reduction. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint offers automatic investigation and remediation capabilities that help reduce the volume of alerts in minutes at scale, while the attack surface reduction set of capabilities provides the first line of defense in the stack. Question 7. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. To the answer area, you can manage Microsoft Intune by using the dash. Our options are Azure AD Admin Center, Microsoft 365 Compliance Center, Microsoft 365 Defender Portal, or Microsoft Endpoint Manager Admin Center. The correct option is Microsoft Endpoint Manager Admin Center. Endpoint Manager combines services you may know and already be using, including Microsoft Intune, Configuration Manager, Desktop Analytics, Co-Management, and Windows Autopilot. These services are part of the Microsoft 365 stack to help secure access, protect data, respond to risk, and manage risk. Question 8. What feature in the Microsoft Defender for Endpoint provides the first line of defense against cyber threats by reducing the attack surface? Our options are A. Automated remediation, B. Automated investigation, C. Advanced hunting, or D. Network protection. The correct option is D. Network protection. Network protection helps protect devices from internet-based events. Network protection is an attack surface reduction capability. Question 9. Which two types of resources can be protected by using Azure Firewall? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our options are A. Azure Virtual Machines, B. Azure AD users, C. Microsoft Exchange Online Inboxes, D. Azure Virtual Networks, or E. Microsoft SharePoint Online Sites. The correct combination of options in this question are A and D, that is Azure Virtual Machines and Azure Virtual Networks. Question 10. Which score measures an organization's progress in completing actions that help reduce risks associated to data protection and regulatory standards? Our options are A. Microsoft Secure Score, B. Productivity Score, C. Secure Score in Azure Security Center, or D. Compliance Score. The correct option to this question is D. Compliance Score. Microsoft Purview Compliance Manager is a feature in the Microsoft Purview Compliance Portal that helps you manage your organization's compliance requirements with greater ease and convenience. Compliance Manager can help you throughout your compliance journey, from taking inventory of your data protection risks to managing the complexities of implementing controls, staying current with regulations and certifications, and reporting to auditors. Question 11. What do you use to provide real-time integration between Azure Sentinel and another security source? Our options are A. Azure AD Connect, B. A log analytics workspace, C. Azure Information Protection, or D. A connector. The correct option is D. A connector. To onboard Azure Sentinel, you first need to connect your security sources. Azure Sentinel comes with a number of connectors for Microsoft solutions, including Microsoft 365 Defender solutions and Microsoft 365 sources, including Office 365, Azure AD, Microsoft Defender for Identity, and Microsoft Cloud App Security, etc. Question 12. Which Microsoft portal provides information about how Microsoft Cloud Services comply with regulatory standards, such as International Organization for Standardization? Our options are A. The Microsoft Endpoint Manager Admin Center, B. Azure Cost Management Plus Billing, C. Microsoft Service Trust Portal, or D. The Azure AD Admin Center. The correct option is C. Microsoft Service Trust Portal. The Microsoft Service Trust Portal contains details about Microsoft's implementation of controls and processes that protect our cloud services and the customer data therein. Question 13. In the shared responsibility model for an Azure deployment, what is Microsoft solely responsible for managing? Our options are A. The management of mobile devices, B. The permissions for the user data stored in Azure, C. The creation and management of user accounts, or D. The management of the physical hardware. The correct option is D. The management of the physical hardware. Question 14. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. To the answer area, dash a file makes the data in the file readable and usable to viewers that have the appropriate key. Our options are archiving, compressing, deduplicating, or encrypting. The correct option is encrypting. In the question, it says to viewers that have the appropriate key. So keyword here is the word key. Encryption is a means of securing digital data using one or more mathematical techniques along with a password or key used to decrypt the information. Decryption is a process that transforms encrypted information into its original format. To do this, parties to a private conversation use an encryption scheme called an algorithm and the keys to encrypt and decrypt messages. Question 15. Hotspot. For each of the following statement, select yes if the statement is true. Otherwise, select no. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. To the answer area, statement. Digitally signing a document requires a private key. The correct option is yes. To the next statement, verifying the authenticity of a digitally signed document requires the public key of the signer. The correct option is yes. To the last statement, verifying the authenticity of a digitally signed document requires the private key of the signer. The correct option is no. About box 1, a certificate is required that provides a private and a public key. About box 2, the public key is used to validate the private key that is associated with a digital signature. About box 3, as the private key is only used and owned by the signer to sign the document, and the associated public key is used to verify the authenticity. Question 16. You plan to implement a security strategy and place multiple layers of defense throughout your network infrastructure. Which security methodology does this represent? Our options are A. Threat modeling, B. Identity as a security parameter, C. Defense in depth, or D. The shared responsibility model. The correct option among all these is C. Defense in depth. Data, application, compute, network, perimeter, identity, and access and physical. Of this, physical is more of cloud provider responsibility. Question 17. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. To the answer area, when users sign into the Azure portal, they are first. Our options are assigned permissions, authenticated, authorized, resolved. The correct option among these four is authenticated. Authentication is who you say you are. Authorization is what permission you have. Question 18. In the Microsoft Cloud Adoption Framework for Azure, which two phases are addressed before the ready phase? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our options are A. Plan, B. Manage, C. Adopt, D. Govern, or E. Define strategy. The correct options are A and E, that is plan and define strategy. Question 19. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. To the answer area, dash is the process of identifying whether a signed-in user can access a specific resource. Our options are authentication, authorization, federation, single sign-on. Now in this question, we are talking about particular permissions. As such, the correct option is authorization. Question 20. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. Dash enables collaboration with business partners from external organizations such as suppliers, partners, and vendors. External users appear as guest users in the directory. Our options are Active Directory Domain Services, Active Directory Forest Trusts, Azure AD Business to Business, or Azure AD Business to Consumer B2C. The correct option is Azure AD B2B. Azure AD B2B collaboration is a feature within external identities that lets you invite guest users to collaborate with your organization. With B2B collaboration, you can securely share your company's application and services with guest users from any other organization while maintaining control over your own corporate data. Question 21. What is an example of encryption at rest? Our options are A. Encrypting communications by using a site-to-site VPN. B. Encrypting a virtual machine disk. C. Accessing a website by using an encrypted HTTPS connection. or D. Sending an encrypted email. The correct option here is B. Encrypting a virtual machine disk. Platform as a service customers' data typically resides in a storage service such as a blob storage, but may also be cached or stored in the application execution environment such as a virtual machine. To see the encryption at rest options available to you, examine the data encryption models, supporting services table for the storage and application platforms that you use. Question 22. Hotspot. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true, otherwise select no. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. To the answer area, statement. In software as a service, applying service packs to applications is the responsibility of the organization. The correct answer is no. To the next statement, in infrastructure as a service, managing the physical network is the responsibility of the cloud provider. The correct option is yes. To the last statement, in all Azure cloud deployment types, managing the security of information and data is the responsibility of the organization. The correct option is yes. It's no, yes, yes. Statement 2 says managing the physical network, that is the responsibility for Microsoft. If it would have said network controls, then it would have been a no, as this is responsibility for the customer. Assume we take the services software as a service, infrastructure as a service, or platform as a service. In SaaS, system updates are the responsibility of cloud provider. If we take infrastructure as a service, physical network is the responsibility of cloud provider. When we take cloud services which provide infrastructure as a service, software as a service, or platform as a service from provider, we give data and information. Question 23. What can you use to scan email attachments and forward the attachments to recipients only if the attachments are free from malware? Our options are A. Microsoft Defender for Office 365, B. Microsoft Defender Antivirus, C. Microsoft Defender for Identity, or D. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. The correct option is A. Microsoft Defender for Office 365. Question 24. Which three statements accurately describe the guiding principles of zero trust? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our options are A. Define the perimeter by physical locations, B. Use identity as the primary security boundary, C. Always verify the permissions of a user explicitly, D. Always assume that the user system can be breached, or E. Use network as the primary security boundary. The correct options are B, C, and D. That is, use identity as the primary security boundary, always verify the permissions of a user explicitly, always assume that the user system can be breached. Zero trust is a security strategy. It is not a product or a service, but an approach in designing and implementing the following set of security principles: verify explicitly, use least privilege access, assume breach. Question 25. What can you use to provide a user with a 2-hour window to complete an administrative task in Azure? Our options are A. Azure AD Privileged Identity Management, B. Azure Multi-Factor Authentication, C. Azure AD Identity Protection, or D. Conditional Access Policies. The correct option among all these is A. Azure AD Privileged Identity Management. Privileged Identity Management provides time-based and approval-based role activation to mitigate the risks of excessive, unnecessary, or misused access permissions on resources that you care about. Some of the key features of Privileged Identity Management are listed below. Question 26. In a hybrid identity model, what can you use to sync identities between AD domain services and Azure AD? Our options are A. AD Federation Services, B. Microsoft Sentinel, C. Azure AD Connect, or D. Azure AD Privileged Identity Management. The correct option is C. Azure AD Connect. Question 27. Hotspot. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true. Otherwise, select no. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. To the statements, Azure AD Connect can be used to implement hybrid identity. The correct option is yes. To the next statement, hybrid identity requires the implementation of two Microsoft 365 tenants. The correct option is no. To the last statement, authentication of hybrid identities requires the synchronization of AD domain services and Azure AD. The correct option is yes. Question 28. What is the purpose of Azure AD password protection? Our options are A. To control how often users must change their password. B. To identify devices to which users can sign in without using multi-factor authentication. C. To encrypt a password by using globally recognized encryption standards. Or D. To prevent users from using specific words in their passwords. The correct option is D. To prevent users from using specific words in their passwords. Azure AD password protection detects and blocks known weak passwords and their variants, and can also block additional weak terms that are specific to your organization. With Azure AD password protection, default global banned password lists are automatically applied to all users in an Azure AD tenant. To support your own business and security needs, you can define entries in a custom banned password list. Question 29. Which feature provides the extended detection and response capability of Azure Sentinel? Our options are A. Integration with the Microsoft 365 Compliance Center. B. Support for threat hunting. C. Integration with Microsoft 365 Defender. Or D. Support for Azure Monitor workbooks. The correct option is C. Integration with Microsoft 365 Defender. Question 30. Which Azure AD feature can you use to evaluate group membership and automatically remove users that no longer require membership in a group? Our options are A. Access reviews. B. Managed identities. C. Conditional access policies. Or D. Azure AD identity protection. The correct option is A. Access reviews. There is no capability to automatically remove user access rights. The whole point of access reviews is that in some cases automation isn't possible. Azure AD access reviews enable organizations to efficiently manage group memberships, access to enterprise applications, and role assignments. Question 31. Which Azure AD feature can you use to provide just-in-time access to manage Azure resources? Our options are A. Conditional access policies. B. Azure AD identity protection. C. Azure AD privileged identity management. Or D. Authentication method policies. The correct option is Azure AD privileged identity management. Azure AD privileged identity management provides just-in-time privileged access to Azure AD and Azure resources. Question 32. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. To the answer area, dash requires additional verification such as a verification code sent to a mobile phone. Our options are multi-factor authentication, pass-through authentication, password write-back, single sign-on. The correct option is multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication is a process where a user is prompted during the sign-in process for an additional form of identification, such as to enter a code on their cell phone or to provide a fingerprint scan. Question 33. Hotspot. Select the answer that correctly completes the sentence. Dash is a cloud-based solution that leverages on-premises Active Directory signals to identify, detect, and investigate advanced threats. Our options are Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, Microsoft Defender for Identity, or Microsoft Defender for Office 365. The correct option is Microsoft Defender for Identity. Microsoft Defender for Identity is a cloud-based security solution that leverages your on-premises Active Directory signals to identify, detect, and investigate advanced threats, compromised identities, and malicious insider actions directed at your organization. Question 34. Hotspot. For each of the following statements, select yes if the statement is true, otherwise select no. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. To the answer area, statements. Conditional access policies can use the device state as a signal. The correct option is yes. To the next statement, conditional access policies apply before first factor authentication is complete. The correct option here is no. To the last statement, conditional access policies can trigger multi-factor authentication if a user attempts to access a specific application. The correct option is yes. Question 35. What can you use to provide threat detection for Azure SQL managed instance? Our options are A. Microsoft Secure Score, B. Application Security Groups, C. Microsoft Defender for Cloud, or D. Azure Bastion. The correct option is C. Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Microsoft Defender for SQL is a Defender plan in Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Microsoft Defender for SQL includes functionality for surfacing and mitigating potential database vulnerabilities and detecting anomalous activities that could indicate a threat to your database. It provides a single go-to location for enabling and managing these capabilities. Question 36. Which Microsoft 365 feature can you use to restrict communication and the sharing of information between members of two departments at your organization? Our options are A. Sensitivity level policies, B. Customer lockbox, C. Information barriers, or D. Privileged access management. The correct option is C. Information barriers. Information barriers are a Microsoft 365 feature which you can use to restrict communication and the sharing of information between members of two departments at your organization. Question 37. Which three authentication methods can be used by Azure multi-factor authentication? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our options are A. Text message, B. Microsoft Authenticator app, C. Email verification, D. Phone call, or E. Security question. The correct options among these 5 are A, B, and D. When users sign into an application or service and receive an MFA prompt, they can choose from one of their registered forms of additional verification. Users can access My Profile to edit or add verification methods. The following additional forms of verification can be used with Azure AD multi-factor authentication. Question 38. You have an Azure subscription. You need to implement approval-based time-bound role activation. What should you use? Our options are A. Windows Hello for Business, B. Azure AD Identity Protection, C. Access Reviews in Azure AD, or D. Azure AD Privileged Identity Management. The correct option is D. Azure AD Privileged Identity Management. Azure AD Privileged Identity Management is designed specifically for implementing approval-based time-bound role activation in an Azure subscription. PIM allows you to manage and control access to privileged roles in Azure AD, Azure Resources, and Azure AD integrated SaaS apps. It enables you to elevate access on a just-in-time basis and provides an approval workflow for role activation, which can be restricted to specific time periods. This makes it an ideal choice for implementing the requirements specified in the question. Question 39. Which three authentication methods does Windows Hello for Business support? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Our options are A. Fingerprint, B. Facial recognition, C. PIN, D. Email verification, or E. Security question. The correct options here are A, B, and C. That is fingerprint, facial recognition, and PIN. Windows Hello in Windows 10 enables users to sign into the device using a PIN. Windows Hello lets your employees use fingerprint or facial recognition as an alternative method to unlocking a device. With Windows Hello, authentication happens when the employee provides his or her unique biometric identifier while accessing the device-specific Windows Hello credentials. Question 40. Which Azure AD feature can you use to restrict Microsoft Intune managed devices from accessing corporate resources. Our options are A. Network security groups, B. Azure AD privileged identity management, C. Conditional access policies, or D. Resource locks. The correct option is C. Conditional access policies. When you use conditional access, you can configure your conditional access policies to use the results of your device compliance policies to determine which devices can access your organizational resources. This access control is in addition to and separate from the actions for non-compliance that you include in your device compliance policy.